You've got to be kidding me, I whispered, my voice barely audible over the hum of the fridge. The bank statement trembled in my hands, the ink practically screaming at me. Bright Futures Foundation glared back from the page, a name so innocent it could have been ripped from a feel-good movie. Regular transfers from our joint savings. A bland address in the city, it all looked legit at first. But I wasn't born yesterday. There was no Bright Futures Foundation. And those neat little withdrawals? They synced up perfectly with James's late-night meetings and vague excuses about unexpected costs. My stomach churned as I sat at the kitchen table, the truth spilling out like spilled coffee. Staining everything I thought I knew. I'm Emily, and for a decade I thought I had James figured out. He was the guy with the dazzling smile. The smooth talker who could charm his way out of a hurricane. For years I swallowed every word he fed me. But now? This paper in my hands was a slap in the face, proof he wasn't just siphoning our savings. He was bankrolling his mistress under the cover of a fake charity. My fingers shook as I flipped open my laptop and dove in. Each transaction led to the same dead-end account. I googled Bright Futures Foundation, praying for a hit. Anything to prove I was wrong. Nada. No website, no social media, no trace. The address? A random office building downtown James had no business stepping foot in. My heart sank like a stone. This wasn't a gut feeling anymore, it was cold, hard fact. An hour later, James strolled into the kitchen, whistling like life was a damn musical. Hey, sweetheart, he said, leaning in for a kiss. How's your day been? I forced a smile, sliding the statement under a stack of junk mail. Oh, fine, I said, my voice calm as glass. Just sorting bills. Anything juicy? He asked, grabbing a water bottle from the fridge. Nope, same old boring stuff. I lied, the storm inside me raging. He nodded, clueless, and sauntered off. The second he was gone, I let out a shaky breath, gripping the table to keep from screaming. Not yet, Emily. He's slick, but he's sloppy. And if I was going to nail him, I had to be sharper. I grabbed a notebook and got to work. Dates, amounts, patterns, all scribbled down in furious detail. I didn't know my next move, but one thing was crystal clear. James wasn't slipping out of this. He thought he was untouchable. Big mistake. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling while James snored beside me, oblivious to the wreckage he'd caused. Every late-night call, every last-minute business trip, every flimsy excuse replayed in my head. I'd brushed it off for years, telling myself I was paranoid. Now, the proof was undeniable. The next morning, after James left for work, I went full detective. The deeper I dug, the hotter my blood boiled. Tens of thousands drained from our savings, flights, hotel stays, luxury gifts. One receipt stopped me cold. A diamond necklace delivered to an address I didn't know. My gut twisted as I searched it, a swanky apartment complex across town. It didn't take long to connect the dots. The place belonged to Sarah, the colleague I'd once overheard him mention. My fists clenched. This wasn't just about money, it was the lies, the gall to use our life to fund his side piece. I called my best friend Rachel. That afternoon. She's the rock I lean on when the world's crumbling. You're not letting this slide, right? She asked after I spilled it all. Hell no, I said, pacing the living room. But if I confront him now, he'll spin it, make me the bad guy. I need a slam dunk he can't dodge. Rachel paused. What about the cops? Fraud, embezzlement, couldn't you turn him in? The idea hit like lightning. Maybe, I said, wheels turning. But I need more ammo first. He's not wiggling out of this. For the next week, I became a machine printing statements, logging transactions, building a file so tight not even James's silver tongue could unravel it. I even tracked down an investigator online, Detective Hayes, a pro at sniffing out financial scams. If this checks out, he said over the phone, we've got a case. But I need hard evidence. You'll get it, I shot back, my resolve steel. By the time I met Hayes, my dossier was a masterpiece. Every transfer, every purchase, every lie laid bare. We met at a quiet cafe across town, far from James's radar. A gruff guy in his 40s with eyes that missed nothing flipped through my work. This is gold, he said. You've done my job for me. Had to, I replied, sipping my coffee. James is careful. But I've been sitting on this for weeks. I need it to stick. He nodded. It will. With this, we can freeze the account and file charges. Fraud like this. He's toast. Relief flickered. But I wasn't celebrating yet. What's next? I asked. We start an inquiry, Hayes said. But if you want to bury him, we can set a trap, let him think he's safe, then catch him red-handed. A chill ran through me. You mean wait for him to pull cash? Exactly. We'll watch the account, and when he moves, we pounce. That night, I weighed Hayes's plan. It meant playing the clueless wife a bit longer, tough, but worth it to watch James crash and burn. The next morning, I wired $50. 000 into the fake charity account. Money I'd stashed in a secret emergency fund James didn't know about. I flagged it in the system. Donations under investigation. He didn't suspect a thing. Over the next few days, he was annoyingly chipper, humming and dropping hints about big plans. I smiled, nodded, played the part. Inside, I was counting down to his downfall. Each day tested my patience. James strutted around, glued to his phone, muttering about things falling into place. I'd grin over my coffee, hiding the fact that his place was a jail cell. Hayes kept me posted. The bank was on high alert, tracking every move. He's getting cocky, Hayes said. Big withdrawals coming soon. How soon? I pressed. Within a week. You ready for this? I swallowed my doubts. Yeah, I'm ready. That weekend, James announced a work trip for Monday, packing his suitcase with a showy flourish. Big opportunities ahead, he grinned. Don't wait up. Good luck, I said, folding laundry, barely hiding my smirk. Sunday night I didn't sleep, rehearsing the takedown in my head. Hayes promised a clean bust at the bank. I'd be there to see it. Monday morning, James kissed my cheek and left, smug as ever. Wish me luck, he called. Hope it all works out, I replied, meaning every word, just not how he thought. Once his car was gone, I grabbed my bag and headed to the bank, adrenaline pumping. Hayes met me outside with his team. He's not here yet, he said, but he's booked a withdrawal. Won't be long. You're sure he's trapped? I asked. Like a rat, Hayes said, stone-cold confident. I waited out of sight, watching the doors. Time dragged. Then James's car rolled up. He stepped out, sharp suit and all, oozing swagger. My nails dug into my palms as he walked in. Inside, it played out like a movie. He handed over his info. The teller hesitated, glanced at the manager. James flashed his charm. But it crumbled when the manager and two cops approached. I couldn't hear him, but his face said it all, confusion, then fury. Handcuffs clicked and he was done. As they marched him out, our eyes locked. Emily, he choked, pale as a ghost. What the hell? I didn't answer. Instead, I pulled the divorce papers from my bag and shoved them into his cuffed hands. Last donation. I said, ice in my voice. He gaped, but the cops hauled him to the car before he could speak. Hayes stepped up, clean as a whistle. He's not going anywhere. I exhaled, the weight lifting. It was over. Driving home, the scene looped in my mind. James's shock, the cuffs, my victory. I should have felt elated, but I was just tired, relieved. Rachel was waiting when I got back. Armed with wine. Did it work? She asked. Like a charm, I said, holding up the empty folder. Divorce papers delivered. She whistled. Don't ever cross you. We sat at the table, wine in hand. What now? She asked. I swirled my glass. Now I figure out life. The house, the money, it's a mess, but I'm done pretending. She toasted me. To freedom. I grinned. To freedom. The next day, the call started. A lawyers, cops, nosy relatives. Hayes confirmed the charges. Fraud, embezzlement, fake charity docs. He's facing years, he said. The money's frozen, we'll try to recover it. My lawyer, Tara, was a bulldog. Divorce'll be quick, she said. You'll keep the house, most of what's left. It wasn't perfect, but it was justice. Weeks later, I started purging James's junk, ties, cufflinks, his genius notebooks, all boxed for the cops. The house felt lighter with every load. Tara called with more good news. Judge is on your side. Restitution's possible. I smirked. Symbolic, sure, but sweet. Rachel pushed me to take a break. You've earned it, she said. I booked a coastal trip. Not fancy, just quiet. On the plane, I watched the city fade, feeling free for the first time in years. At the beach, I really breathed. One night, I jotted a list: redecorate, reconnect, build my career, forgive myself. It was a start. Back home, I made the house mine, new paint, new furniture, his office now my library. Friends noticed. You're glowing, Rachel said. I feel it, I replied. Work picked up too, a consulting gig, small but mine. The divorce finalized. Michael faded to a bad memory. One night, I sat with tea watching the sunset. The house was home again, not empty, but full of me. My list was nearly done except forgive myself. I smiled. That had come. For now I was enough.